Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. So it's been a crazy couple of weeks around here for me with travel with my real job that keeps me pretty busy this time of year, going to a lot of meetings. And this past week was no exception to that. I spent pretty much the entire week down in Tampa at some meetings, got home late Friday night, then was basically gone all day long Saturday, got up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, was gone all day. So bottom line is this weekend, I didn't really have any time for any shop work like I normally do. So I'm hoping though that we're going to be able to squeeze some stuff in a little bit later this week and get you guys a shop video later in the week with some stuff. I got an idea of something I can do. So anyway, we'll kind of leave that hanging, and you can be looking out for some other videos later in the week. I also want to remind people that this is my odds and ends series. And I have said this before, but evidently some folks may not have got it. But my odds and ends series, this series that I do, is more about shop talk, more about show and tell, as some of you guys call it, where we just really kind of talk about what's going on, talk about new things that have come in, and we may throw in a little bit of shop content from time to time if it's a quickie. But I have had some people who have made some comments that basically said they're not crazy about this format. That they'd rather see, things going on in the shop. I tend to do those as separate videos, and I do these as separate videos because I've heard from you guys that some people don't like this. And if you don't, that's great. I'm not trying to encourage any of you guys out there to start throwing out, comments or whatever. If you don't want to watch the odds and ends, that's fine. I can tell just by looking at the numbers, the video views, that I get a lot more views on shop content than I do on this video series. And that's fine. I realize that, but I've also heard from many of you guys that you like this format, you learn from this format, and you want to see me continue to do it. And that's what I will do, and I'm going to continue doing it under this odds and ends title. So enough said on that. So we're going to move on and do a little bit of show and tell, I guess, as some of you guys like to call it, of some new things that have come into the shop this week. And let me make a comment there too. I consider myself to be extremely fortunate to have a lot of great viewers out there who decide they want to send along a little viewer appreciation gift. That's not why I do videos, guys. I do videos because I like sharing with you guys what's going on. I like to hear your comments about what's going on in the shop. But at the same time, when people send something in, I feel a certain amount of obligation to show it on the channel because it is coming from the community as a whole, and I feel like it's important that we share that. If you ever send something to me that you don't want me to show or you don't want me to tell your name, just say so, and we'll keep it out. But from what I've been able to gather again from the comments is that most of you guys enjoy seeing this, and I'm going to continue doing that. If you don't like it, again, you don't have to watch this series. You can watch my just regular shop content stuff, and we're going to keep it separated out. And again, enough said on that. So we will move on this time with some viewer appreciation gifts that came in this week. So first item here, got a package this week from Mike Frost. Mike is over in Katy, Texas, and he sent me a note that he wanted to send me a couple of items. I sent him my address, and first off, there's a bag with some more beef jerky. I love beef jerky, guys, and I've been getting a lot of these homemade beef jerky recipes. That's good, Mike. I'm gonna set that down and finish it in a moment, but that's real good. This is it's kind of got a peppery taste, which I like, and I don't know, I'm picking up maybe a little teriyaki maybe in there. I can't quite place it, but it's good. But anyway, in addition to the beef jerky that Mike made, he sent me a note, and I'm not going to read that, but he said he had a Kennedy toolbox at home that belonged to his dad. His dad worked in a machine shop up until 1975, and he wanted to send me along some drill bits that was out there, and these were some, I think, that were a little bit too large for him to be able to use in some of his machines. So I'll zoom you in here and I'll let you take a look at what these look like. All right, so it looks like we got an assortment of different bits here. Looks like all of them could probably use a sharpening, but we got the machine to do that. So there's a 9/16 #2 taper shank. I don't see a size on that one. We'll have to measure it, but it looks like a #1 taper shank with #2 sleeve on it. This is a 1/2 inch #2 taper shank, and then we got just some regular shanks here. This one is a 3/4. I don't see that one marked, and this one looks like a 5/8. So anyway, thank you, Mike. What I will do is I will grind a new edge, put these on them, and I will put them in with the rest of my drill bits. And these are some nice larger size ones that will definitely come in handy. We'll put them to use. Thanks a lot. All right, next up, we got another little priority mail box that showed up in the mail this week. This one is from Robert Meyer. Robert is over in Poway, California. And Robert also contacted me here about a week or so ago. Said he had some items he wanted to send me, some stuff that was a little bit too big for him to use that he had picked up along the way. And what they are some nice milling cutters. So again, let me zoom you guys in here, and we'll go through these and kind of show you what we got. So this first one here is a 3/4 inch end mill, Cleveland. Let's get the calipers, measure those. So the shank is 3/4. This must measure 3/4 across. I don't know, that looks like it may be just a little under 3/4, but I'm not sure, but it is marked 3/4, so I'm gonna assume that's what it is. But this thing looks like it is brand spanking new. I can't tell that it has ever been used. In fact, there's a little piece of green paint on here on the cutter edge that is, has never come off. So anyway, nice 3/4 inch mill there. Next up is another. This is a 1 inch, and it's a ball end. And again, the edge on it looks perfect. I don't think this end mill, I don't think any of these end mills have ever been used. Let's see, next one here is another 3/4 end mill. This one's got a little bit longer on it, and this is a 3 flute. This one here's a 2 flute. Haven't seen many 3 flutes. I've seen a few of these over the years, but I don't know that I've got any 3 flute end mills like that. Again, I think it's brand new. Doesn't look like it's ever been used. And the last one here, this one is by Brubaker. And the last one here is a big, what's that, #7 center drill. Cleveland #7. I don't know, this one marked with a name. It's a 1 inch. It's got a ST in kind of a badge looking symbol, similar like a state highway sign, high speed steel. So I'm not sure what that ST is. But anyway, 3 nice end mills, 1 nice big #7 center drill. Some very nice tooling here in perfect condition. So again, we'll put these out there at the shop. I've got a end mill dispenser where I keep all my end mills, a little Hewitt box, and this will fit in nice. I don't have a lot of these larger size ones, and this 1 inch ball end, that's very unusual. I actually have used these ball ends quite a bit for stuff when I want a radius in the bottom of a hole for some reason or up against the edge. I know I don't have any ball end mills that size, 1 inch, so that's really, really nice. So again, thanks a lot to Robert Meyer for sending these in to me. And again, we'll put these to use. Thanks, Robert. So the next box here comes from another one of my YouTube viewers, Ron Brees. Ron lives actually here in Georgia, up in Thomaston, which is, I believe, up near Augusta, Georgia, a little ways from me. But anyway, Ron has been watching my channel and said he wanted to send me something, and we struck up a little email conversation. And come to find out, Ron is quite the craftsman himself, and he actually has a little business where he makes custom hand planes, so wooden or planes for woodworking. And I'm an avid woodworker as well as a metal worker. Have been doing more metalworking the last couple of years than woodworking, but I love using hand planes. In fact, I built this workbench here mainly for using with hand planes, and I've got quite a collection of them. Well, Ron builds custom, basically wood and metal infill planes that are just absolutely beautiful. And I'll put his website down here where you guys can go take a look. And I'm probably even going to put a couple of pictures in here. I hope Ron doesn't mind of some of his planes off of his website, because the craftsmanship here and the blending of both wood and metal together, this is just a really classic place to do that, is in some of these hand planes, and his craftsmanship is outstanding. So Ron, I'm impressed. I think I've actually met you before at some Midwest Tool Collector meets, and maybe even have held some of your planes. They look real familiar to me. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like a little bell's ringing in my head. I think we may have crossed paths before. But anyway, Ron wanted to send me a couple of things. And first thing he said, he wanted to send me one of his shirts from his business. So if you look here, it's got the Breeze planes on there, fine hand planes on the front. And then on the back, it's just a plain shirt. Rather clever. So anyway, I really like this. This will get worn, I promise you. And some of my woodworking buddies will be quite jealous, I'm sure, to see this. So anyway, check out Ron's website, take a look at some of his work, and in addition to the shirt that he sent me, he also told me he was going to send me some wood scraps. So let me show you some of Ron's wood scraps. I'm going to zoom you in here so you can see this. So in Ron's plane making, he uses a lot of exotic woods to make these planes out of. Very beautiful. And he had some scraps that he wanted to send me. So this first one here, he put on here what they are. This is olive. I think I've actually worked with a little bit of olive wood before, doing some pen turning, making little ink pens on the wood lathe. So some of these little scraps, I'm not sure what I'll use them for. Some of these may actually get turned into pen blanks and make some really nice ink pens. But anyway, that's nice olive wood. See the next one here. Okay, this is desert ironwood. Never worked with that one. This is a really, I mean, I wish you guys could feel this. This is a really dense, heavy wood, and it's just got a beautiful grain in there. I've heard of this wood, but never actually used any. So anyway, I'll look forward to that. There's more. All right, so this is one of my favorite woods, actually. I have not had a lot of experience working it, but this is Coca-Cola. And I guess one of the reasons, and it's also called rosewood, Coca-Cola. But Coca-Cola is a tree that grows in Latin America, and had the opportunity probably about 10 or 12 years ago with the previous job that I had. We actually went to Costa Rica, and I was down there for about 2 weeks working with some of the villages down there, helping them with some agricultural practices, and people who were basically doing subsistence farming. But anyway, while I was down there, we saw a lot of Coca-Cola growing wild. In fact, got a chance to visit a wood turner down there that had a primitive wood shop where he basically had a homemade wood lathe, and he was taking limbs and stuff that fell off of these Coca-Cola trees and turning beautiful bowls out. In fact, I bought one from him and brought it back home with me. But anyway, Coca-Cola is one of my favorite woods. Again, I haven't had a chance to work with it very much, but it's just absolutely beautiful. You can see the grain in there. It's just very colorful. So anyway, little backstory there on Coca-Cola. Next one here is East Indian rosewood. And again, very pretty. A lot of different rosewood species around the world. And rosewood was traditionally the material used for the totes on hand planes. So that's still used very much by woodworkers now. So next here is Madagascar ebony. Another interesting thing, when I was in Costa Rica, we saw an ebony tree that was big enough that it would take about 6 people to reach their hands around to go around it. Now, the forest in the area that we're in, all the trees were protected. They couldn't cut the live trees. They could pick up dead wood, that fell off the trees, but they couldn't cut the live trees. But it's still interesting to see such a huge specimen of those trees. Moving on, so this is a Gabon ebony. I'm not really familiar with that one. Got a little cheeking in there, but still pretty piece of wood. I'm sure we can do something with that. And finally, Koya. This one is a fairly common, I say fairly common. You see this used a lot, maybe a better term for, again, for pins and bowls and stuff. It's not really common by any means, but you can get this pretty readily through ordering through some specialty places. And again, a very beautiful wood. So anyway, Ron, thanks so much for the wood. And maybe we'll do some pin turning or something with some of these blanks and do a couple of videos on that sometime soon and put some of this wood to use. It's such small pieces, we'll have to do small stuff with it. And anyway, turning some little pin blanks I think would be perfect for these. So I mentioned previously something, a little blurb about the Midwest Tool Collectors Association with Ron, and it's kind of ironic because just yesterday, on Saturday, this is Sunday as I'm filming this, but on Saturday, I spent the day and went to the annual Midwest Tool Collectors Association Peach-Meet, which is held up in Madison, Georgia, about 2.5 hours north of me. And that was held over a 3-day period, ending yesterday. So I took the day, and me and a buddy of mine rode up there and had a chance to go to the Peach-Meet. I usually like to go on Friday because there's usually more vendors and stuff there, more people with tools out. Saturday, a lot of people pack up and start heading back home, unfortunately. But we got up, left here about 5 o'clock in the morning, drove up there, got up there about 7:30. Sun was just coming up when we pulled up there at the fairgrounds where the meet was at. And there was still quite a few vendors set up and trading tools, so I had a chance to go through and look at some old vintage tools. I will put a plug in for the Midwest Tool Collectors Association. If you like old tools, and I love old tools just in general, whether it be machinist tools, woodworking tools, or just tools in general, I love the quality and craftsmanship that was in a lot of these antique tools. And I love having them, I love using them in my shop. They're just so much, to me, they're just so much more friendly to use, feel better in the hand than a lot of the stuff that's being made and sold now. So anyway, we made the trip up to the Peach-Meet and had a chance to look at some tools. And of course, I bought a few things. So I think what I'll do is, again, zoom you in here and kind of show you what all we picked up this year at the Peach-Meet. Well, I have to admit, it was a little disappointing going on Saturday this year rather than Friday like I usually go, but because about half the vendors had already packed up and gone home before I could get there, which is always frustrating for, I guess, the younger guys that still have to work for a living. And a lot of the members in the Tool Collector Association are older, retired people that they're a little more flexible in their schedule and can be gone during the week. So, and they want to get out of there. And I can understand that too, but the selection was off a little bit from what I've seen in the past, but I'm still able to pick up a few items, and we'll go through these in no particular order. So the first item here is a little hand vise. And this is something I've been seeing these things at these tool meets for years and years and years, and have been wanting to pick one up, but just never done it. Saw this nice one here, and I really like this one. Most of these, of course, you take this and you hold it in your hand and you can clamp something in there. So if say you're grinding on a grinding wheel and you got something small and you don't want to get your hands up that close, you can use this as kind of a hand vise to hold it with. There's just lots of things you can use it for, but what I liked about this one is most of these come down and pivot in the bottom, and when you open it up at the top, of course these jaws just open up, but you know, the jaws don't stay parallel to one another because they pivot down here. Well, with this particular one, it's got a thumb screw in the bottom, so you can adjust this to different widths but keep the jaws parallel with one another to get a better grip on it. So I really liked that feature in this one. And anyway, I thought, heck, I'll just go ahead and pick that one up. So anyway, I got that. I'm gonna just kind of, most of these I actually got from the same vendor. And even though they were individually priced, we kind of put them all together, and then I made them an offer on everything, and anyway, I'm going to show you everything I got for the day, and we'll kind of tell you what I paid for everything, because I really don't know what I paid individually for some of these, or it'd be hard to figure out. So the next thing was a little, again, a little machinist clamp here, and these are, again, a little parallel clamp, so you can slide these out, and kind of like a little woodworking clamp, but for a machinist to use. And these are handy to have in the toolbox to be able to grip on things. I've got a couple of these in different sizes, and anyway, this was in that, and I threw it in my pile, and anyway, we made a deal on this as well. The next item here is this, and this is for separating links of chain. So I do occasionally work around machinery that has sprockets on it and be something to be chain driven. You can use this on bicycle chain or motorcycle chain to be able to separate the links. So when you buy a piece of chain, and I looked around here looking for a piece of chain in my shop, and I didn't have any. I think I got some out of the museum, but I don't have any here to really show you how this is used. But I do have a piece of chainsaw chain, and this is not designed for chainsaw chain, but I think I can kind of illustrate how this is used. So if you look, you got these little kind of rivet looking pieces in here that hold the links of the chain together. And again, this is not designed for this type of chain, but what you would do is when you pull this open, it kind of pulls this area here open, and you slide this down and kind of grip that top piece of the chain, and then you take this little screw in here and screw down on that rivet, and basically what you do is you push that rivet out, and when you do, it very cleanly separates out that rivet, and then you can put a half link or a whole link in there to join the chain together. So if you're cutting a piece of chain to make it the right length, you need to be able to separate those out. You can use a punch to do that, but it's this little tool here is really just it's the way to do it. It's so much easier. Don't have things bouncing around on you. I've actually used one of these a couple of times. I got a friend that has one, and last time I was doing some chain work when I was working on the Vance planer matcher, I had to put some chain together for that. I borrowed his. But anyway, I saw one of these and I picked it up. Anyway, this is made by Boston Gear Company. It's a real nice one, and I was very tickled to get it to put it into my collection here. And the next items here were kind of a group. So these are brass foundry tools. And these here, of course, are spoons, they call them. And it's for when you're doing the molding, if you got to kind of do some repairs inside there. I've got a bunch of these, but you know, they're getting harder and harder to find. This one here, in addition, it's kind of like a little scoop. You can kind of scoop down in there and kind of spoon things out or smooth them out. There's some different shapes. This one here, you can kind of use that to kind of pack around with in the sand, or come in there on the side, smooth things out. It's useful for a lot of things. Again, I've got several of these tools, but anyway, I saw those and picked them up. This one here, it was in the group of these foundry tools, and the guy I bought them from said that these were all together when he got them. Although I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I'm not sure what this is, what it's used for. I'm not even 100% sure that it's a foundry tool. But if any of you guys know what this is, I would be very interested. So it's, you got a kind of a point down on one end. The top is tapered, but it's hollow in this end. Anyway, if anybody knows what that is or what it's used for, I would be interested. I've looked in some of my foundry books, and I don't see anything in any of them that look like this. So again, I'm not 100% convinced it's foundry related, but because it all came together, one would suspect that it may be. So anyway, if you got any ideas on that, please let me know. So the next item here, in a Starrett box, a planer and shaper gauge. Very nice example of a Starrett number 246 planer shaper gauge. Several guys have been showing recently how these are used, but basically you can adjust this up and down with different things in here to adjust the height on here, and you use this to set a tool. They were used for metal shapers or planers when you were setting the height of a tool and you needed to be able to go back and forth. You could set this height like on a surface table or something and then go transfer that height to your cutter. But they come in handy for all kinds of things, and these little pieces here will come out so you can either just work right off of this surface. There's the smaller extension, then a larger extension. I got it screwed in on the back, and in addition to working in that direction, you could turn it up this way and again get even more height out of it. So they call it a planer shaper gauge, but they really come in handy. And again, I've actually been looking for one of these for about a year, and just haven't come across one at what I thought was a good deal. And you know, if I really wanted one, I guess I could have gone on eBay and just bought one. They're readily available. But anyway, I saw this one. I've been kind of looking for one that's in great, pristine shape, and I picked it up. It was part of this group of tools that I bought. Still in the original box. Not sure of the vintage on this, but that solid red box. You know, now the Starrett boxes look more like this when you buy them. So I know it's probably an older. Some of you Starrett collectors out there may be able to look at the box and get a rough idea of the age on them. But picked up that, and the last item I picked up was also in a red Starrett box, an older Starrett box, and this is a machinist level. Again, very, very nice example of a machinist level. This is a, what is it, a number 98, 12-inch level. The box was in decent shape. One side of the top here was kind of messed up, so I'm going to put some tape on it at one time, which I could shoot them for, but anyway. But the level itself, I mean, this thing is really, really in pristine condition. You know, maybe just a little teeny tiny bit of surface rust that'll clean right off. The vial in here is in great shape. It doesn't look like it's hardly ever been used. And I'll be the first one to admit I needed this level about like I needed a hole in the head. I've already got two machinist levels. One that's a little bit smaller than this one. Then of course I got that master machinist level that I picked up back last fall that I think is about the same size. In fact, so by comparison, actually, this one is a little bit smaller than my master machinist level, and then my other one is a little bit smaller than this one. So, maybe that wasn't such a bad purchase. Now I've got 3 different machinist levels in different sizes. So anyway, I was pretty tickled to get that one. These come in real handy for leveling up machines and lathes, and the level of precision on these, again, is very, very good. So anyway, let's put them all back together and we'll kind of talk about what we paid for all this. All right, so all these tools here together, it was about $250. You know, it wasn't by any means just a huge bargain, but at the same time, if you go out and start looking at pricing all these individually, I think I got a decent deal on all this. And it's all stuff that I can use. So anyway, I was tickled to get my hands on these items. So picked those up at the Midwest Tool Collectors Association. Again, if you're interested in old tools and collecting them, go check out their website. They have these tool meets all over the country in different places. They have a schedule of tool meets, and if you know you want to get in on some of that action, by all means you can do that. They have their national meeting coming up, I think in June. It's going to be in Kingsport, Tennessee. In fact, that's going to be close enough to home. I may try to make a trip up there and go to the national meeting when there will be just a ton of vendors selling old tools from all across the U.S. So I'm going to try real hard to get up to that one this year, if at all possible. All right, so the next item here is another tool purchase that I made this week, or this last week. And this one was actually based off of some recommendations that some of you guys made on my last video. I was talking about doing some pin striping on my safe, and several of you guys mentioned this Bugler pin striping tool. And I was quite honestly not familiar with it. I went online, did a little searching. I actually found some videos on YouTube showing how it was used, and I said, you know what? That looks a heck of a lot easier than masking it off with tape and going in there and hand painting it. I mean, I know a good pinstriper could paint it by hand. I am not capable of doing that. But this right here really looks interesting. So this is brand spanking new. Some of you guys say I never buy anything new. Well, here you go. I probably could have found one of these used on eBay, but I just opted to buy a brand new one. But it's an interesting tool. So this is basically it. And what you do is you take this end off down here and fill this little cylinder up with paint. There's a little plunger in there to kind of help feed it down. And they have different wheels on the end here that are different widths. And you can see in my set here, it comes with a whole range of different widths that will be the stripe. And this tool, you basically load that up. It puts the paint on this little roller. The roller's kind of got a little straight knurl type finish on it. And you basically just push this thing along and it lays down a perfect pinstripe. And of course you can do all kinds of shapes and different angles or whatever with it. Again, I saw it being used online. It looks like something that I can probably learn how to use. So probably one evening this week, I'm going to get some paint, come out here to the shop, probably just get some paper and start practicing using this. It actually comes with some little guides, so if you're doing a straight line, you can put this in here and you know, run this right down the edge. That's not the right way. Let's see, let's put this one in there. So, you know, if you got an edge you want to kind of go down, you just kind of roll this down the edge and that will keep it perfectly parallel with the edge. So anyway, I think this right here is going to be really a nice tool to use for my pinstriping. And you know, when I looked at the original pinstriping that was on this, what was left of it, of course there were different width lines that they put on there. And when I looked at it, it said it looked like there was some type of tool that it didn't look like it was hand done. And I would be willing to bet that they used basically the same tool here to do that. I think this company's been around since like the 1920s or something. I can't remember. I saw some stuff on that. I think the patent on this dates to the early 1900s. So this tool's been around for a long, long time, or probably variations of this tool. And anyway, we're going to give it a try. And you'll probably see some pinstriping videos coming up with me learning how to use this tool, and again, practicing with this tool, and then actually using it to pinstripe my safe. So I thought I would show that to you. And again, thank you. There were probably 3 or 4 people on the channel that commented about this tool and told me about this tool, and I sent links to where I could get one and everything else. And after doing some quick research, I said, yeah, that looks like a good way to go and a good way to try. So, and again, it's made by Bugler. Anyway, we're going to see how this works. So you guys will get to see that later on. So again, that'll wrap up another episode of Odds and Ends. Appreciate you guys sticking in there. Appreciate you taking a look at what's going on in the shop this week. And after doing a tremendous amount of traveling during the month of January, looks like the next couple of weeks I'm going to be a little bit closer to home. So I'm excited about that because quite honestly, I've had hardly any time over the last 5 weeks to get out in the shop and do much. And hopefully we're going to have some time, at least in the evenings and stuff. My weekends aren't going to be quite as crowded the next couple of weeks. So maybe we'll have a few more shop type videos to be able to share with you guys. I know those have been kind of thin here lately. Probably had more of these odds and ends and shop videos. And that's directly proportional to the amount of time that I have to get out in the shop, guys. And when I get in these busy seasons like I've been in with my job here lately, you know, we just don't have time to get out in the shop, just like everybody else in the world. So anyway, I'm looking forward to being able to have some more shop time here soon, and we'll get some more stuff out for you guys to watch. As always, thank you to everybody out there who watches my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all your comments. I always look forward to your comments. And guys, the comments is what keeps me going. That's what keeps me doing this. It's hearing from you guys that you like what you're seeing. And even if you don't like what you're seeing, you know, share that in a constructive way, and your voice will be heard. But anyway, thanks again so much, and we'll talk to you guys very soon.